Headlines. It's time now for the Sunday papers. Joining us this morning, writer and broadcaster Jamie Breese. Jamie, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
What's caught your eye this morning?
I picked out 5 or 6 stories. It's a real mixed bag in a particularly non-newsy kind of week. The Middle East continues to burn, and it's just tragic. This time, some echoes from past violence, and definitely going to be an effect on tourism. I'd hope not, but apparently Al-Qaeda here have been blamed for a suicide attack, and 17 people have been killed. Majority are Coptic Christians. And tragedy upon tragedy, some innocent Muslim bystanders have been killed as well. The president of Egypt, Mubarak, has called for Christian and Muslims to show unity. It's just such a shame because they were welcoming in the new year, and of course nothing much changes, does it?
Yeah, I think they were coming out of midnight mass, weren't they, when this car bomb exploded. But I guess that's the question. Was it just a targeted attack on the church, or what were they trying to engender more political difficulties within Egypt itself?
I think there's a growing wave of anti-Christian sentiment going around, particularly in the Middle East. That's been preceded with some previous attacks, and I think it's probably more linked to faith issues rather than political. But who knows? I mean, no one's actually stepped forward and said this is our responsibility. It's shocking. Terrible way.
A tremendous story in the Mirror. This is the veteran serviceman, the skier who lost limbs in battle, doing wonderfully. It seems, that photo on the slopes now.
My paper, the Sunday Mirror, a great bit of photojournalism again, and in a time where I think we haven't been seeing enough coverage about soldiers, particularly at this time of year, stuck out there in Afghanistan and elsewhere. Here we've got 14 soldiers limbering up, going to Colorado to go skiing. This chap here has got no legs. One of them has lost a leg and a limb, and indeed won the George Cross for his heroism. They're up in Colorado.
There he is on the slopes. We filmed
You've
that
got some
in Colorado.
pictures.
Yeah,
that was very quick.
Yeah, and he's doing really well as well. And the charity that took him out there obviously saying that technology now means that there's no limits for these guys, and that's a tremendous sight.
Story at this time of year, isn't it, about our troops as well?
Following on from a bad story about the Middle East, here's something which is uplifting, and there just hasn't been enough coverage of our soldiers serving out there at this time of year.
No, Let It Be was our headline for the Ringo Starr story.
Yes.
I don't think he actually lived there that long. It's just where he was born, wasn't it? Is it the Dingle, that part of Liverpool?
That's right. It's a group of streets which are kind of related to the Welsh immigration there, and this is Ringo's home for the ages of 0 to 4.
Ah, right.
No, so it's not
Formative years.
Yes.
Exactly. It's formative years. That's when he first picked up some sticks and started to go like this.
Made a bit of noise.
Really important. I pray that common sense is going to spread throughout the government here. Indeed, the housing minister stepped up, just as Grant Shapps, and he said there may be a loophole in the housing law. It's some 30-year-old statute. This has been going on for a while. It's not new news. But if we think about this, in 30, 40 years' time, are we ever going to forgive ourselves as a nation for doing this? You know, the Cavern Club was pulled to pieces and rebuilt, which was a crime against humanity. My favourite band of all time, and many others as well, the Beatles. This is culturally important.
Both McCartney and Lennon's former homes, they're now sort of museums as such. You can actually go around and have a look.
I mean, they're knocking down all the houses on that street, aren't they? So they're trying to preserve this one house.
Yes.
And do you think property prices and the added value to those properties that people will be buying in that area, if Ringo Starr's childhood home is on your street, surely that's added value.
Yeah. It's kind of not being respectful to Ringo. He was really he was a creative force in the Beatles.
Although, I guess the other aspect is how much is it going to cost to bring these houses up to modern spec in terms of sanitation and the rest of it there.
I've got an idea. Let's get the remaining Beatles together, and they can fund the preservation of
They could probably buy the whole street several times.
Buy the street, that's the best way to do it.
Right, OK. Meanwhile, Schindler's List is for sale.
Crossing over into my other area of expertise, which is antiques and collectibles. I've come into Sky a few times to talk about them. I went to Auschwitz and Krakow at the end of October, and very, very poignant, incredibly rare in the collecting market. One of the 4 remaining lists which was prepared by Stern and Schindler of the 800...
13 pages of typed document.
About 800 odd names were on it. 7,000 people are now thought to have survived that list as a result. Incredibly important. It's not an auction, which is unusual. I think if it was an auction, the amount would be higher.
Is there something rather distasteful about it actually being used as a commercial venture, commercial property as such.
Well, there has been a move, it says here as well, to block the sale of it by one of the
Who would buy
inheritors.
it? 1.75 million. Who would buy it?
2 copies are in America, and the one's in the Holocaust Centre there. A couple are in the Yad Vashem, or the memorial in
I mean,
Jerusalem.
no doubt it should be preserved for posterity, but whether you make a profit from it is difficult. Anyway, let's just then finally look at. Let's have a look at Mr. Fox.
Yes.
The fantastic monster featured by the Times this morning.
Fantastic photo piece, mad story. Vet, allegedly, because we don't know it's for sure.
It's a wolf,
fox.
isn't it?
It looks like a wolf. It's as tall as a 7-year-old child, apparently, and weighs. Let's look, 26.5 pounds. What's all that about? Absolutely mad. Apparently, he ate the family cat. He was hunted and trapped by a vet.
I'm going to tell my dad to stop feeding the foxes in
Well,
mum and dad's
yeah,
garden.
I mean,
I don't like the
there
look of
are people who say, look, these are pests. They're not furry animals. There's
There's 34,000 of them, don't you know?
Yeah.
The Conservatives, pre-coalition, did pledge to put forward a debate and a referendum on this. And, I sit somewhere in the middle,
Right.
and I think if there's 34,000 of them, they are a pest, as even campaigners say, but they are wild animals. They should be left alone.
Yeah, especially if they're that size.
Yes.
Thank you very much
Anyway.
indeed for your selection this morning. We'll see you a bit later.
For sure.
And thank you for your views. News@sky.com, of course, for your emails, 84501 for texts. Also coming up here on Sky Sunrise, find out about the new woman in charge in Brazil. A new leader for them. While on Sunrise itself, we're with the Barmy Army. England aiming for a series win down under.